There's a guy at your table who just won't stop hammering. He's raising every hand. He's firing every street. He's betting like the chips are burning a hole in his stack. And the whole table is losing their mind trying to figure out how to stop him. Here's the truth. You don't stop him. You let him go. And you get rich doing it. This is Vinton Poker. Precision in, profits out. Today, we're talking about maniacs, how to identify them correctly, how to adjust your strategy to exploit their specific leaks, and how to stay disciplined long enough to collect. Because here's what most players get wrong. They think the problem is a maniac's aggression. It's not. Aggression is a symptom. The actual problem for the maniac is that he arrives at the turn and river with too much garbage. He creates enormous pots with hands that should never be playing for stacks. That's where your money is hiding, not in fighting his bets, in owning his ranges. The first thing you need to do is to diagnose which type of maniac you're actually facing. And I want to be very clear here because most players skip this step and it costs them huge. These are the 4 types of maniacs. Type 1 is the aggro caller. He plays too many hands, bets too much, and he calls way too much and way too light. This is the player you want at your table every night for the rest of your life. He's a value machine. Do not bluff him. Value bet him thinner and bigger than you think is reasonable because he'll call with hands that you beat barely and often. Type 2 is the aggro bluffer. He fires relentlessly, but he can actually fold when things get uncomfortable. Against this player, you trap more, you bluff catch more, and you let him punt away his stack into your waiting hands. Type 3 is the tilt maniac. This is the normal player who just lost the big pot 20 minutes ago and is now torching chips on fire emotionally. His strategy isn't a strategy. It's grief. Tighten up, isolate him, and let him donate. Type 4 is a skilled lag. He looks like a maniac, but he's actually applying pressure with intelligence. His aggression is targeted, not random. Do not call this player down blindly. Use balanced defense until you build a real read on him, because confusing a skilled lag with a true maniac is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Diagnosis first, everything else comes second, and from the result of the diagnosis. Now let's talk pre-flop. The biggest mistake players make against maniacs is flatting too much. When you flat a maniac's open, you invite the entire table to join the party. Now you're playing a multi-way pot out of position half the times against a player who's going to fire every street regardless of what he has. That's chaos that you created for yourself. Stop flatting, isolate more. If the maniac opens to $15 at your 1-3 game and you have pocket queens, raise to 60. Get heads up. You want bigger pots with fewer opponents. You want his mistakes compounding in larger pots when your range advantage is enormous. Here's what you're widening your 3-bet range to for value against the maniac, against the true maniac. 9s plus, ace-queen plus, ace-jack plus, king-queen suited. Against someone who's genuinely opening garbage, you can add pocket 8s, pocket 9s, ace-10 suited, king-jack suited, queen-jack suited. But here's the critical point. Widen for value, not for bluffs. If he never folds to 3-bets, bluff 3-bets are lighting money on fire. Make sure your diagnostics tell you which player you're facing before you start shipping in chips. Post-flop is where real money is made. And I want to give you a framework that changes how you see every single decision from now on. There is one question that drives it all. The one question: does the worst call? That's it. That's the engine. Against a maniac who calls way too much, that question answers yes on far more hands than it does against a solid player. Top pair, top kicker against a normal player is a medium strength hand at best. Against a true maniac, top pair, top kicker is often a stack off hand because his range contains too much garbage. He arrives on turns and rivers with gut shots he couldn't fold, second pairs with no kickers, random backdoor draws he chased for one card, and complete nonsense. He triple barrels ace king on an 8-5 deuce board because aggression is his language. Your top pair top kicker calls those hands down easily and collects. Most players don't do this. They see 3 barrels and they imagine monsters under the bed. They think he wouldn't be doing this without something, and they fold top pair. Meanwhile, the maniac is fist bumping because he just won a pot with 10-9 off on a board that missed him completely. Value bet relentlessly. Size up on the flop, 60 to 80%. Turn, 70 to 100%. River, go huge. Punish the inability to fold by making them pay full price to make mistakes. And here's something that is going to sound completely backwards. Stop slow playing. I know, everybody wants to trap the maniac. Yes, it feels so satisfying to check raise them with the nuts on the river. But here's the reality. Maniacs love free cards. Every street you check is a gift to him because his weak hands need equity to get there, and you just gave it to him for nothing. When you flop a set, a strong 2-pair, or any big hand, bet it, raise it, get the money in now when his range is still full of dominated draws and speculative nonsense. Their mistakes are biggest early, not on the river, so charge immediately. Now let me give you the bluff-catching formula because this is where killers separate from the herd. But before we go on, if you're getting value from this video, give it a like and share it with someone else who's also serious about becoming a crusher just like you. Your support helps this channel grow and it means the world to me. Also, don't forget to share your thoughts and questions in the comments below as I read them all. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any future episodes. Getting back to bluff-catching maniacs. Maniacs over bluff. They over-arrive at rivers with too many weak hands, too many missed draws, too many air balls that turn into big bets because aggression is all they have left. That means you get to call them down wider than you call down anyone else at the table. Here's the math. Pot is $200. Maniac bets $100. You're considering a call. The formula is call divided by the total pot after your call. So 100 divided by 400, 25%. You need to win 25% of the time for that call to break even. Now ask yourself, is a true maniac bluffing more than 25% of the time in that spot? Yes, obviously yes. So you call. This is why hands like second pair, top pair, weak kicker, even ace high on bricked out runouts become profitable calls against maniacs. Not because you feel good about it, but because the math says his bluff frequency exceeds your break-even threshold. That's the whole decision. And here's a critical piece most players miss. Do not raise your bluff catchers. I know raising feels like power, but when you raise, what happens? Worse hands fold, better hands continue. You've just removed the air from the pot. The only reason the call is profitable is because his range contains so much air. Raising eliminates the very thing that makes your call good. Against maniacs, calling is often far more powerful than raising. Call down, let them keep firing. Their aggression is your paycheck. Let me talk about position because it doesn't just matter, it's everything. In position against a maniac, life is simple. You see what he does first. You can call, raise, or fold with full information. You can pot control when you need to. You can extract value when you're ahead. You can bluff catch with confidence. Out of position against a maniac, life is miserable. He forces tough decisions at every street. You're guessing constantly. Your good hands get murky and your weak hands become impossible. If you can choose your seat, seat yourself to his left. If you can't, tighten up your starting range from bad positions dramatically and wait for spots where you have the equity edge. Here's a concept that I want to leave with you because this might be the deepest thing in this entire video. Many maniacs are fragile. Their whole story depends on fold equity. They look fearless because most of the table keeps folding. But the moment someone starts calling them down consistently, something changes. The triple barrels become single barrels. The overbets disappear. The river shoves dry up. Their confidence was built entirely on the assumption that you would fold. And when you don't, many of them collapse into passivity. What does this mean for you? Call them down early in the session. Establish that you're not folding. Make it clear with real money that their aggression has a ceiling, and then watch them carefully. Because once they stop bluffing, the exploit changes entirely. Now you should overfold rivers and value bet relentlessly because their air is gone. The best players constantly update their reads. They don't assume a player is static. The maniac was firing every street in hour 1, maybe a calling station in hour 3. Your adjustment has to move with the player. Let me wrap this up with the single most important thing I want you to take away from this video. But before I do, if you want to go deeper on all of this, my Delusion Killer Masterclass covers this material directly. Module 6 is exploitative play and player types. These are the exact lectures on identifying player profiles and adjusting your value and bluff frequencies against each one. If you want to understand not just what to do against maniacs, but why it works from a mathematical and exploitative standpoint, that's where you go. The link is in the description below. And if you want to work directly with me on maniacs in your own game, I offer a free 60-minute coaching session one-on-one. You bring the hands, I bring the framework, and we figure out exactly where you're leaving money on the table. The WhatsApp link to book your session is in the description below. Send me a message and let's get to work. And here's the one thing you should take away from this video. Boring poker destroys maniacs. People imagine that beating a maniac requires genius level play, hero calls, elaborate traps, brilliant bluffs. It doesn't. Most profitable strategy against maniacs looks almost embarrassingly simple. Strong ranges, big value bets, thin value bets, bluff catching with math, emotional discipline, and patience. That's it. Their insanity creates your edge. Your only job is to stand there and collect. He will hit 2 outers. He will spike runner-runner flushes. He will river straights on boards where he had no business being in. Good. Let him keep gambling, because in the long run, math wins every single time. The maniacs at your table are not your enemies. They're your most reliable source of income. Learn to see them that way, and your whole game changes. If you want to keep learning and keep crushing, click here on this next video. As always, GG.